Okay, guys, we can talk about this COVID. Is it um, a fact or a myth? Okay, let's figure this all out. Okay, when it first came out, it came out from Wuhan, China. All right. Now remember, right after it came out, a couple of our scientists over here were arrested for assisting the Chinese in making that laboratory. It's a biological weapons laboratory. Okay, and yeah, China got a bunch of stuff, bunch of complaints from everyone across the world and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it came out that it was a lady that got it that worked there, and she gave it to her husband. They both died. And one of the guys over there, one of the scientists over there, um, decided he'd give out a warning, so he died. Interesting how these people just seem to die that are involved in this. Um, and so then it came out that uh, it was a virus that happened between bats and snakes. Then it was found out those snakes are thousands of miles apart from those bats, and they don't intermingle. So now it's dogs eating bats. Interesting, dogs eating bats. That's how it wound up in Wuhan, China. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Wuhan, China has a biological weapons laboratory. Okay, I got two theories on this. Okay, one is that yeah, one of the workers got it, left, gave it to her husband, and that's how it got out. It got out early. It got out before it could do severe damage. Okay, now if it didn't get out, if it stayed in there, the question is, what would the Chinese do with it? Use it, of course. Um, if it's what I suspected the Chinese were going to do, they were going to perfect it to where you get it, and in about 2 to 3 weeks, you just die of it. Um, no hospitalization, no nothing. You just basically die. That's what biological weapons do. They kill you. Okay. Um, and so what it is people is that the Chinese government, I believe, was trying to make it so that they could sit there and infect their own people. Because I tell you what, the Chinese government really doesn't care about their people, their civil rights, or anything else like that. They'd rather shoot you than look at you in China. So they infect a bunch of Chinese people, which go to the different population parts of the world that has issues with China. Okay, one is the United States. If you drop two or three in Los Angeles, two or three in San Francisco, Seattle, Oakland, Houston, Dallas, Detroit, New York, Chicago, Miami, um, Denver, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, and a few other large population centers with a virus like that would all of a sudden you'd be going up the street and bam, you just collapse and die right there on the spot. Um, it would it wouldn't cause any kind of problem for at least a couple weeks, and then people might say, "Hey, yeah, there's something wrong with this." But in the meantime, those people infected other people too, because you can get it and affect other people, and it won't affect you for 14 days. That's the way some people are. Okay, if they perfected that, can you imagine how many people that they could affect in 14 days? And then when they die, these other people are infecting other people, you'd have a huge amount of people dying. You'd have population control like you wouldn't believe. Um, England, same thing. London, their major cities. Australia, their major cities. Canada, their major cities. You'd have, and next thing you know, China would be the big man on the block because everyone else has huge amounts of deaths, which is really, really sad that they would even consider such a thing like that. The other philosophy, and it's even more sinister than that, is that the United States assisted China in making this with their scientists that went over to China to help build the facility and probably a few other things. They usually don't arrest Chinese, or they usually don't arrest Americans for going over to China and building a building. Now, if you're helping them with biological weapons, I can understand that. Okay, so they make this biological weapon. They're in the process of perfecting it, but it gets out, right? It's not perfected, but it gets out. All of a sudden, there's a lot of people getting sick in Wuhan and other Chinese cities, and it's starting to go around and stuff like that. Well, now what it is, the U.S. government can turn around and say, "Hey, you know, it's in the United States. We need to lock these people up. You know, um, we need to make sure that no one is on the streets, so no one dies of this, right? And as long as we can keep you locked in your houses, keep your businesses shut down, and throw you a little bit of money every now and then, and tell your landlords that they can't evict you, then it's easy money. You can control the whole population that way. And that's what our government's doing. It is controlling the population by doing that. There's a few people out there that sit there and say, you know something, this is bull. You know, but hey, it was a chemical weapon that was made by Chinese and American scientists, and it wasn't gonna be done for anything to make anyone any good. It wasn't gonna destroy other viruses or anything. It was designed to kill people. China was making this virus to kill people. It got out. Thousands have died. Tens of thousands have died. Hundreds of thousands have died. And no one, and that, and now what it is, they want to sit there and say, well, yeah, dogs are eating bats. That's how it got out. Because you can't dispute that. I mean, how are you going to dispute a dog eating a bat? You know, it just doesn't make, it makes perfect sense. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Why were those scientists arrested by the U.S. government when they got back from China? Why was this? How did this wind up in a Chinese biological weapons laboratory? How did people in that laboratory get it? You understand what I'm saying? It just does. Everything the government's putting out about this doesn't make sense. The truth is, the government doesn't know shit about this. It's only been around for a short period of time. It's been all over the world in hot weather, cold weather, um, in between weather, sunny, rainy, all that. Okay. Now they're saying that it dies within a minute after it hits sunlight. Okay. And that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, a lot of viruses do, but there's a thing called the soft virus and there's a thing called the hard virus. Okay. AIDS is a soft virus. That means once it leaves the body, there's only a short period of time, a minute or two, sometimes seconds before it dies. Okay, a hard virus like the cold can survive out of the body for days, weeks, months at a time. That's the way hard viruses work. So to sit there and tell us that this is a virus that's 3 times more that you can catch it 3 times, faster than you can catch the cold, right? And then turn around and say, well, hey, it doesn't survive in ultraviolet light. That's all right. Well, how did it get around so much? I know a lot of people in nursing homes got it, and that was really suspicious. Naughty, naughty, Mr. Trump. Um, and yeah, if you look at a lot of the people that's getting it, a lot of news articles, hey, this convalescent home here got it. This nursing home over here got it. This veterans home over here got it. It seems like it's winding up in all these places where these elderly people live. Okay? It's not winding up. You're not hearing about apartment complexes with 40, 50, 60 people, and 20 of them got it. 20 of them got it. No, you're not hearing that. But you're sure hearing about the nursing homes, and the staff and hospital personnel. I went out and looked at these hospitals that had the COVID set up, and there's no one in them. No nurses, no doctors, nothing. No one was in them. So to me, it just doesn't, what the government's saying just doesn't make any sense. So I have to go by what I see, what the evidence is, and everything that's going on around it. Okay? I'm not buying this thing about it was a dog eating a bat. Okay? I don't believe it. Never did, never will. I don't believe it was a snake eating a bat. I don't believe it. Okay? How to get the humans if it was a snake eating a bat? Did the human kiss the snake? What? Usually, I've known people that eat snake, and they skin it, clean it out, and then they turn around and cook it really good. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. But for some of you guys that it does make sense, it's interesting. But I would like to see more and more people put their beliefs on how this came out, why, and stuff like that. I still believe the U.S. government was involved in this, in putting this out. And the way to quiet it up was to arrest the U.S. scientists and lock them up. Because the Chinese already locked up their scientists. Their scientists wound up with COVID and died. So it seems like there's an awful lot of people dying that know what's going on. And this is Bob. I'm going to sign off for now, but I just want you guys to think about what I just said.